I was in Mexico recently, I had the most amazing soup, and what made this soup amazing was the crunchy tortillas that are used as the garnish. Now, I'm going to make them a little bit later, but to start with, just in a pot, I've got a medium-sized pot here because I'm going to make a soup for 2 people. In this, I've got a little bit of olive oil heating up, and in goes some finely chopped onion, along with some salt. And I'm adding the salt because I don't want these onions to burn. I want them to release a little bit of their moisture. So the salt is actually going to draw that out. I'll give that a stir. Fantastic. And now we can start adding more to the base. Now, the base to this soup is really, really crucial. If you cook the base of this soup really, really slowly, then a lot more flavours will develop, giving you a better result. I like to add 4 big fat cloves of garlic in this because it's going to give it such a wonderful flavour. And always add the garlic after the onions, just to give the onions a little bit of a head start. I'm also going to add some chilli to this, and I'm going to reserve some of this water. This is just a dried chilli. If you can't find these dried chilies, you could just use a little bit of dried chili flakes. You just need half a teaspoon in this recipe. Perfect. And now that can go in, along with some coriander. Now, I'm not going to be using these leaves yet. These leaves are going to be the garnish right at the end. For now, I want a concentrated coriander flavour, an intense coriander flavour. So I'm going to be using the root and the stalks here that have loads of flavour, and you don't need to waste anything in this bunch. Okay, in, and we'll give it a really good stir. And I've started the heat on quite high, but now I'm going to turn it down to a medium to low heat. And this is where you want to soften this nicely. So give it a good 5 to 8 minutes. Once it's really softened, I can add the spices. Now we can add our spices, so the coriander and the cumin. And you want to toast this off just very briefly until it starts to become really aromatic. Perfect timing, I can smell it now. Now we can add the tomatoes. So I've just de-seeded these tomatoes. I de-seed them because it just takes away a little bit of the bitterness that you get from the seeds there. Not crucial. And now tomatoes love salt, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt now. And I've just reserved the chili water. The chili water has so much flavour in it, so that can go in along with about 3 litres of chicken stock. Perfect. Now we'll give that another stir, and once this comes to the boil, I'm going to add some chicken. Now, I'm going to use whole chicken legs, and the reason I use chicken legs is because there's so much flavour in them. I'm leaving the skin on, but by cooking the legs on the bone in this soup, we're not only flavouring the soup even more, but the meat's going to stay really soft and moist and will just break down nicely once it's cooked. So I won't put those in yet, we'll just wait until that comes to the boil. In the meantime, let's get on to our garnish. Now, I have some white corn tortillas here, and I'm just going to shred them into strips. These strips are going to go in some hot oil, which I'll actually put on first to get it quite hot, into a pan over here because we're going to shallow fry this. So we'll just shred them with a sharp knife, cutting them into strips. And once they hit the oil, they're going to go really, really crispy. Now, you can do this ahead of time. You can even do these the day before and keep them in an airtight container. Okay, into the oil. That's hot, I can see it. We'll just test it. And by testing it, you just get the tortilla and just drop it in. And if you see those little bubbles around the tortilla there, you know that that oil is the perfect temperature. So these won't take too long. You'll see them start to blister up. They'll change colour slightly, and then I'll take them out and put them on some paper toweling to drain. Now my soup has been cooking for about 45 minutes. It's reduced a little bit and the chicken's cooked. So I'm going to take the chicken legs out, just drain them off and place them on a board. I'm actually going to turn that off now, and just with a knife, just so I can get it done straight away, you can see how that meat just falls off. This is my new favourite cut of chicken, because when it's so soft like this, it's such a pleasure to eat, in particular in a soup like this. Now, you can just place this chicken straight into the individual serving plates, or if you like, you can pop it straight back in. I'm going to put most of it back in, and we'll keep a little bit for our presentation bowl, which is just here, a nice bright Mexican style bowl. And with a ladle, we're going to just add the soup to the bowl, 3 or 4 ladlefuls. And for the garnish, some extra tomatoes. I have some cherry tomatoes here, 3 or 4, and we'll cut them in half. Along with this garnish, I've got a little bit of spring onion that I'm just going to cut on an angle here. Perfect. And all that coriander that we reserved, we're going to add that to the top too. So to serve, add the tomatoes and try to put them all in the centre so we can get a little bit of height on this. We'll add our spring onions, and I'll just take a few of those leaves off. A few more, the tomatoes can just sit there. And a little bit of lime. I'm just going to take a cheek off one of these, and this can just sit at the top there. And let's just crunch these all over the top. And you want to do this at the last minute. When everyone's sitting down, you bring the tortillas out and let everyone help themselves. It's a very fun soup. I'm going to have a taste of this. Just get a small amount because it's going to be very hot. Oh, that is just so nice. And the crunch of that, irresistible.